So this exercise is about uploading training data set using Seagrass Trainer. Okay. I hope before going to the exercise, I hope you have downloaded sample training data set from the following link. This link was given in the email that I was sent to you earlier, I think last week. So please download the data from this link. And the procedure I'm just about to explain is written in Seagrass Trainer User's Manual, page 19 to 24. So if you have this manual printout or PDF, please go look at page 19 or 24. Okay. First, let me explain the roles of Seagrass Trainer and Seagrass Mapper. Seagrass Trainer is a web app dedicated for registering training dataset for Seagrass Mapper. So this tool is used to send information to Seagrass Mapper for mapping. And Seagrass Mapper map Seagrass habitat using Google Earth Engine, the power of the cloud computing. Yeah. So this is like the basics flow of how Seagrass Trainer and Seagrass Mapper work together. But as Seagrass Mapper is not used, cannot be used in China, we prepare additional option in Seagrass Trainer to talk to the Seagrass Mapper in the back end to return the analysis result. So if you are joining this webinar from China, please use Seagrass Trainer for registering training data set, also mapping Seagrass habitat. Okay, the comparison of Seagrass Trainer and Seagrass Mapper. So as I said, Seagrass Trainer cannot be used in China due to this Google services restrictions. And for input file format, while Seagrass Trainer can handle KML, KMZ, this is Google data format, Seagrass Mapper cannot handle this dataset. Can just use CSV or shape files. And for raster dataset is both GeoTIFF. Output file will be the same, and classification algorithm will be the same. So yeah, random forest, decision tree, support vector machine, and Maxent are the standard supervised classification algorithm. And for non-supervised classifications, worker k-means algorithm is can be used in Seagrass Mapper, Seagrass Trainer. Other features of these tools, while Seagrass Trainer is non-interactive tool, this is order-based services. Seagrass Mapper, you can do interactive mapping. Okay. Necessary data for mapping Seagrass with Seagrass Mapper and Seagrass Trainer. You need to have satellite image for classifications, and this has to be raster data format, and file format is GeoTIFF, and this is required in any case. And metadata, this is also necessary, and the file format is usually XML or IMD, and this metadata is required only when you are uploading satellite images into the cloud environment. Means that Seagrass Mapper comes with freely available satellite images, and these images comes from Google Earth Engine data catalog. I will explain what kind of sensors data is available from Google Earth Engine data catalog. So if you are not uploading any satellite images of your own, you don't need to upload the satellite metadata. you need to specify area of interest information. And this information is called AOI. And AOI it should be in the form of vector, polygon data format, and file format is either shape, KML, KMZ, CSV, or GeoJSON. And this information is required in any case. You need to have training data set. For ATC means atmospheric correction. And this has to be in vector data format. And the data format is same as AOI. And this is required if you are doing atmospheric correction and masking land, and also are masking dark pixels. Okay, another data set. Training data set for WCC. This is water column correction. So Dr. Sagawa from ResTech will provide a talk about this importance of doing this water column corrections before analysis. And this data set has to be in the form of vector, and these are the file formats. And this is required if you are doing water column correction. Okay, training for classifications. In the case study that I presented in Nanao Bay, there were 5 classes of information. So depends on the Please mute your microphone if you're not talking, okay? Thank you. Training dataset is required in the form of vector, and these are in this data format, and it has to be separate files. Information has to be saved in the separate files. And this is required if you are doing supervised classifications. Depth bathymetry data are necessary if you are doing, if you are using water column collection based on BRI method. Dr. Sagawa will give a talk about this BRI index. And if he wants to mark some deeper area in, by using depth information, again, you would need this information. Tidal level data. If your case study side, the tidal level changes are huge, you need to have tidal level data as well. Okay. Okay, these are the list of freely available data set from in Seagrass Mapper and Seagrass Trainer. Our tools have access to Landsat 4, Landsat 5, Landsat 7, 8 data archives, and ESAR Sentinel-2 data archives. JAXA ALOS datasets are available for free of charge. So these are the list of satellite sensors can be used for mapping Seagrass. If you want to do a fine scale mapping of Seagrass habitat, you may need to purchase some of the commercial satellite images, such as GOI-1, WorldView 1, 2, and WorldView. This is sorry. This is 3. So it means that you can upload the images you purchased, and then when you do this upload work, you need to also upload the metadata information to the cloud. Okay. And this is how AOI data would look like. You need to draw rectangular shape of polygons like this using GIS software like QGIS and save it in a shapefile. Then zip compress all file components of the shape, at least these four files with these extensions. This is must-have data set. And you need to specify this information in aoi.zip. The name has to be this name, so that Seagrass mapper realize this information is your area of interest. Okay. If you are doing atmospheric correction, you need to draw polygons in deeper area where light reflection from bottom is negligible for dark pixel method. So in case of Nanao Bay, I picked up these 3 polygons out of the area that I know this area has no reflection of light from the bottom. If the image has some brighter spot, you might want to pick up those spots and then include those spots for another atmospheric correction method using near infrared method. So if the image is contaminated by like sun glint, some of those brighter spot has to be included in the atmospheric correction method. And you need to, after you create polygons, you need to save the file in atc.zip. Okay. Polygons for water column collections. These are the polygons that I created doing water column correction procedures. The point here is you need to draw polygons from shallow to deeper area, like shallow to deeper area with high possibility of sandy bottom. It means that the bottom substrate has to be in a uniform type. In this case, sandy bottom. And after creating these polygons, you need to save the file with the name of wcc.zip. And to determine these locations, you need to have some sampling data set. And in our case, these are the area that with high possibility of sandy bottom. Okay. In the case of Nanao Bay case study, we prepared bathymetry data in GeoTIFF format, and we use this bathymetry data for water column collection by bottom reflectance index method. And we also use this information to mask some of the deeper areas.
Apapun yang saya paham, Bu.
The area deeper than 10 meters.
Begitu ada slide gambar, ini apa-apa, Bu, baru buka-buka. Oh, ini gini, ya, hanya begitu.
I don't know if this microphone is on.
Hanya Pak Yano, kalau nggak percaya.
Please.
Begitu langsung ditambah, kita kasih mikroskop, kita ambil air di tambah, kita suruh lihat 1 hari 2 kali, 3 hari minimal 20 spesies plankton hafal. 3 hari cukup.
Okay. 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 Sorry for the trouble. So back to the bathymetry data. I was using the bathymetry data for masking deeper area and also water column correction. And this file has to be saved in TIFF data format, and the file name has to be d.tiff. This option is not available in Seagrass Trainer yet, but hope to be made available soon. Seagrass Mapper have an option to calculate the size of each class. When doing this, you need to upload the area to specify the area calculation of each substrate class. And in this case, I draw these polygons using QGIS and manually updated to Seagrass Mapper environment. You have no access to upload this area.zip, but in the future, currently, but in the future, you will be able to use this option. And of course, you need to prepare a data set for supervised classification. And in this case, I think the sample data set you have 4 different classes. The file name start train underbar CLS1 and CLS4. Okay, so this is, yeah, in this case, this green indicate dense seagrass, and the purple here is seaweed, and the red indicate the sparse seagrass, and the yellow is sandy bottom. Okay, so how Seagrass Mapper reads training data is you need to specify the location of your data set, and the data set in the world of Seagrass Mapper, in the world of Google Earth Engine, is called asset. This is a definition that I found in Oxford Learner's Dictionary, and I found this explanation very suitable. Asset is a person or thing that is valuable or useful to somebody or something. And in this case, this information, the data set available, the valuable and useful to Seagrass Mapper for mapping. So please remember, we will be using this terminology asset as an information package of. Okay, and Seagrass Mapper asset is associated with mapseagrass@gmail.com Google account. Okay, I see one question. Okay. Okay, so this there is an information comes that from audience it's difficult to get a local bathymetry for some coastal water. Is there any global data available set as an alternative? I think the answer is no. At this moment, if you want to have fine scale bathymetry data, okay, somebody just answered the question. But to my best knowledge, I think that such like good, fine scale bathymetry data is still not available. And well, there may be information explained from Dr. Sagawa tomorrow at his lecture. There is a ways to estimate bathymetry from using the satellite. Yeah. Okay, let me continue my talk. So registering training data by Seagrass Trainer. So once you have all the data set available, you need to access Seagrass Trainer, and this is an interface to upload the list of training data set. On the left top of the screen, you have the dataset button that opens the option to input the type of dataset you have in your computer. And in this exercise, we will be using the sample dataset that I prepared for this hands-on exercise. We will be using dataset in the Null Bay. and start uploading by each start uploading each data using this window. Okay. 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 New information. Okay. Yeah, there are some information exchanges in the chat menu about bathymetry data. So, checking asset folder name to read in Seagrass mapper. Okay. This is important information for you to know where your data set is going. Okay. Training data set will be registered into folder called asset, as I explained. And after uploading all prepared data set, you will be able to see the name of the asset by clicking this analysis tool button in Seagrass Trainer. And the asset folder name is automatically created as your user ID of Seagrass Trainer and the year, month, day, hours, minute, and second. Okay, and this asset folder is created every time you are logging into our Seagrass Trainer. Okay, and so you have to remember the name of your asset, and it depends on the time of the logging into the Seagrass Trainer. Okay, and this is how asset information will look like inside Seagrass Mapper. As I explained, Seagrass Mapper is associated with mapseagrass@gmail.com account, Google account. Once I log in this Google Ads engine code editor, you will be able to see the user ID and year and the month and date and minute and hours and minute and second of the information that those asset folder were created. Okay. Okay. So this is it, and now we will be working together, accessing Seagrass Trainer. And before doing that, I want to make sure that that everyone has registered Seagrass Trainer. And if you have trouble accessing Seagrass Trainer, please raise your hand or yeah. Or unmute するのどうすればいいんだろう。Yeah, please contact me if you have any trouble signing in Seagrass Trainer. The instructions are given in the email that I shared last week. And I'm sending the link to sign up Seagrass Trainer. Okay. Let's participant to unmute. Okay, if you have any questions, unmute yourself. Unmute it. Okay, unmute yourself and make questions. I see a question comes from Mikael. I have registered but have not yet been verified. Yeah, I'm the one who's doing this authentication, but after the authentication is done, you have to access the email and verify your email address. So let me check the status. And I forgot to mention that in this exercise, we have a guest from our developer, Seagrass Trainer, Seagrass Mapper developer, Remote Sensing Technology Center of Sagawa-san. Can you unmute your microphone and show your face if you're ready? Please turn on your video also.
Wait a moment. Hello, Teresa.
Yes, I don't see your eyes.
No.
Please move your camera so that I can see through your face. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Is okay?
Yes.
It's okay.
A lot better.
Oh, sorry. Actually, I cannot do. Okay. Okay.
So let me introduce Dr. Sagawa. He has developed this algorithm mapping Seagrass using Google Earth Engine, and we worked together for the last 3-4 years to develop this Seagrass Trainer, Seagrass Mapper, and he will be giving a talk in the theory of detecting Seagrass by remote sensing and the basics of image classification accuracy assessment. So if you have problems in signing in Seagrass Trainer, or if you have any troubles using Seagrass Trainer, you can also ask me a question, but you can also ask him a question. He will be supporting this webinar. Okay. So if you have succeeded in registering Seagrass Trainer, please raise your hand. Okay, I see two. Okay. Okay.こことかっていうのは、ミュートとかこういうのをこちらでできるんだけど。ミュート解除はできる。ミュートさせることはできる。そして、今シーグラストレーナーにログインできなかった。大問題だ。 I have a question. Are you sending the password by email? No, we are not sending any password by email. I mean, we will. Hold on a second. Temporarily access is granted, and you need to create your own password. Okay, so that's the answer. Okay. Sagawa-san, you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Can you access Seagrass Trainer as an administrator now?
Seagrass Trainer?
Yes. I'm trying to authorize all the user requests, but
Give me a moment.
so. Okay. Yeah. Default password is given in the email that you will be receiving from Seagrass Trainer system, and then you need to create your own password. And this password you create is not visible from our side. All we can do is just to verify your request, but you have to do the rest of the registration work. We will be waiting for people to be able to log in the Seagrass Trainer 5 more minutes. Then we will continue. And just for your information, all this procedure is written in Seagrass manual PDF, page 5, page 6, page 7. So if you get lost, please read the manual of Seagrass Trainer, page 5 to page 7.
寺田さん、ちょっといいですか？
はい
こちらでは、今ちょっと山田が入ってますけど、管理者アカウントで入れるみたいですが。
はい、入ってます。
ここで山田さん、すみません。
はい。
いつかユーザーアプライリストの中にまだ名前が残っていて、
はい。
ユーザーオーソライゼーションのボタンを押しても、レジストレーションで、その後レジストレーションボタンを押しても、 ID がすでにあるとか、そういうことを、あるいはインバリッドフォンナンバーデータフォーマットとかって言われるのがほとんどで、大体こちらがやるべきことはやってるという認識なんですけど、そういう理解でいいですかね。
はい、まず、15人今申請があるんですけど、こちらは随時申請を許可していっていいっていうことですかね。
今13人になってますけど、
はい。
許可していってよくって、こちら許可してるんですけど、許可しようとすると、ユーザーアカウント already exist とか、ほとんどがそういうユーザーで、もうすでに、
なるほど。
ちょっとその辺をちょっとチェックしてほしいんですけども。
はい。
Oh, thank you for asking this question. Do I need to upload the data to see dataset folder? Yes, you can go ahead and try uploading the data one by one. Yes, go ahead and do that. Well, thank you very much. Okay, now I will be sharing what your asset will look like from the system. And hold on a second, please. Okay, now I'm signing Google Earth and Call Editor by my personal Gmail account. This is not associated with Seagrass Mapper, so I will be signing out. And I will be please hold on a second. Sorry, it's taking so long. Now I think I can show you. Okay. So now I think you see my screen. Okay, you are looking at Google Earth Engine code editor associated with Seagrass Mapper web app, and I see some of your name here. See, these are all your username, user ID. So some of you at least succeeded in creating asset folder. Let's see. So here the folder is empty. Kirill Komatsu sensei here. Okay, and currently, after you upload the asset information for Seagrass Mapper to be able to read this asset information would take some time. And Sagawa-san, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so so currently it is taking at least several minutes to.
Yes.
To be able to read from Seagrass Mapper. And after the asset information is successfully created, you will be able to see something like this. Okay, this is sample data set I have uploaded using MapSeagrass account. Today, you will be able to see area of interest, information depth, and this parameter information is created automatically if you run the analysis. And then training data set for atmospheric correction and the training data set for classification 1, 2, 3, 4, sea floor substrate type, and the training data set for water column correction. So this is how the successful data set would look like. And if you have succeeded in uploading this information, you can copy and paste the asset folder name in the next to the load asset button of Seagrass Mapper. And if you click the load asset information, the map panel in the center will be looking like this: assets loaded. Oh, there is some error here, but usually there is no message like this. It should be an image coming from Google Earth, and you will be able to see. You will be able to continue the rest of the exercise. And let me continue here. By the way, so now that I was able to read the asset I created, and I know this information comes from June 2015. I will be changing this to just changing the sensor name to Landsat 8 OLI, and start specifying the time range starting from June 1st to present. And I hit the search button. Okay, this question just came in. how can I read the folder name to be pasted in Seagrass mapper? How can I read the folder name to be pasted in Seagrass mapper? Okay. So let me stop sharing the screen. You need to go to analysis menu. Analysis, you need to look at analysis button. This is hold on a second. Okay, so sorry, it's not analysis button, analysis tool button here. If you click that, you will be able to see the name of asset folder that you have just created. And as I said, this this name is given by the time of you are logging to the Seagrass Trainer and your username. Okay, yeah, thank you. And so you just copy that and paste that information here and hit the load asset. And I assume that this process is taking several more minutes according to what Sagawa-san says. And but after all the data upload is successfully done, you will be able to specify the image just like this. In this case, I specified the sensor name Landsat 8, Tier 1 TOI reflectance data, and time range is starting from June 1st of 2015. So Seagrass Mapper is now fetching all the images available after this day to present. You see the list of satellite images available for free of charge from Google Earth Engine data, public data catalog. And to run the classification in this case, as I know, this data set is based on the ground truth data set taken in June 2015. I will be choosing the very first one that matches from this criteria, which is this satellite image ID. All you need to look at is the last 8 digit that gives you the date of the image is taken, 2015-06-01. Okay, I cannot load the asset in Google Earth Engine. Me too, sorry, me too. I'm having an error saying AOI not found when I try to load asset. But in the trainer, I upload the AOI.zip. Yes, so this is Sagawa-san, how do we respond to this?
As Terao-san explained, it takes several minutes. Yes. Now I check several parts on the assets, but I think not completed yet.
So please wait for a few more minutes, and in the meantime, everyone can start experiencing the very similar exercise that I'm doing. Sample, and I want you to go to the chat And please copy and paste the sample underbar Nanao 1506 while waiting for Seagrass Trainer to send what you are uploading to Seagrass Mapper. So please type in this one. Chapter on Okay. Okay. So my colleague has reported he was able to upload the asset using this sample called sample now 1506. And while I'm explaining this, I would like to, okay, yes, the sample now 1506 is working. Thank you. As I said, I see, hold on a second. Who is right now accessing from China? If you are accessing from China, please unmute yourself and ask me some questions. I see from the list of participants, nobody's from China is access. Oh no. Correct me if I'm wrong. I see no. Okay. Okay, I'm still waiting for any response from Chinese participants here. But if you are not asking me any questions, I will go back to this explanation of the Sigra's mapper. So yeah, if you are listening, if somebody's listening, my voice from China, yeah, please interrupt me anytime. Okay, back to this chat menu. Okay, this is the Sigra's mapper page. Please. Milika is
Yes, I'm here. Can you just scroll a little bit up?
Okay.
Yes, that one. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. Okay. This is your request. Sorry.
Yes.
So in this, a parameter here is that because I know this sample data set is coming from June 2015, I just wanted to find the images close to this sampling timing, Grand Tours timing. That's the intention. Okay, so let me continue the rest of the parameter settings. And if you have succeeded in loading asset, you will be doing something like this. And the result might look a little bit different because you are reading sample and now 1506 asset. This include, if my memory is correct, 5 classes of substrate information. The one I'm presenting right now is using 4 classes, only 4 classes. So I will be now moving to atmospheric correction section. tickling this first box, mask for land option, and I will be skipping this mask for dark pixel. This option is useful for very, very clear water in tropical zones, so I will be not using this option. And executing atmospheric corrections, because I'm doing atmospheric correction, I will be checking this box. And dark pixel method is given by default. I will be following this default option. Now moving to water depth correction section, I will be using depth data uploaded, and this is automatically given because the asset information already include DTIF information, that is bathymetry data. And here I specified number 10 to mask the area deeper than this. This is 10 meter, and so I will be checking this box. I won't be doing any tidal correction this time. Nanobe tidal movement is very, very small, so I will be not using this option. And water column correction, I will be first testing depth invariant method in index method. This option is useful if you have no bathymetry data. And you can change this to BRI if you have the bathymetry data uploaded. So let me first start with DII. And the number of class I specify 4 because I'm using substrate information of 4 different classes. I will be running supervised classification. So I change the number of class to 4 and I check the supervised classification. And then I check random forest method given by default and set the training rate to 70, means that the 70% are using will be used to estimate the seafloor, used to train this random forest model, and the remaining 30% to do the validation. Okay, and this box is given by the means if how you wanna sample the training data set, and in this case, the training data is split by each class, and then after you set all the parameters, you hit the run button at the end, and now Seagrass Mapper is doing classification based on the training, all the training data set given to Seagrass Mapper. So this is how you would look like, your analysis would look like. And if you are using sample Nanao data set, the color might, you might have brighter green instead of this dark green. Okay. Okay, so we cannot check the supervised classification. Yeah, supervised classification. This checkbox is very slow to respond, so you have to, you have to wait a little bit, and you need to uncheck the mask for dark pixel. It's recommended, as I said, it's recommended to uncheck the mask for dark pixel unless you are mapping the seafloor in tropical zone where water is very, very clear. I cannot check the mask for land. I cannot check mask for land, really.
Yes, Genki, I'm also having the same problem. I cannot check any of the Also, atmospheric correction or nothing from water depth correction. Yeah.
Okay. But you are able to read the asset.
Yes, it is my asset. I was able to read. I found the images. And then when you go for atmospheric correction, I cannot check any of that.
Sagawa-san, are you there? Can you explain this?
Yes. Now I check assets. Because now I think Mirka-san has AOI in assets, but does not to have ATC parameter. So I think that's why maybe not not uploaded yet.
Oh, okay. So I just have to wait.
Yes, I think so.
Upload.
Yeah, after finished, you can use option for mass brand.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we are trying to improve this time difference. I mean, time gap, and try to make it faster to reflect all the data set readable from Sigra's mapper as soon as you finish uploading the data set. Okay, using the now, the result is a bit different from the one showed, in this screen. Using my asset, I cannot interact with Waterdepth correction from as if the D file was not present at all as data. Yeah, like Milka was saying, it may be taking long to read the asset you just uploaded. So please wait for a bit. And it is correct. The result is a bit different from the one showed on the screen. As I said, I have in this example that you see on the screen, I have merged dense seagrass and then seagrass with sargassum. In Nanao Bay, in this particular month, there were quite a bit scale of sargassum was observed associated with dense seagrass bed. So I initially differentiated these two classes. That's sample Nanao dataset, which is based on 5 classes. But in the map that you see here on the screen, on the shared screen, I have merged this dense seagrass and the dense seagrass with sargassum into one class. So you see only one green. So it's really important to know what you're doing when you upload your field data set. And then it's also important to run the classification until you get satisfied result. And the satisfied result in this case means, okay, on the right top of the screen, you see accuracy percentage, tag coefficient, and this is in case of DI. And if I change to BRI, let's see what's going to happen. Now I'm changing the water column correction to BRI from DII. And you remember this accuracy here. It was overall accuracy was 69%, has significantly increased by bottom reflectors index method. And another thing that the sample now dataset has, and this one that you are looking at on the screen doesn't, is this sample Nanao 1506 include area polygon that Seagrass mapper can calculate the size of seafloor substrate in each class. So I will be giving the same parameters fetching Landsat 8 image after 2015 June 1st, selecting the same one and checking the dark pixel method. And let's change it to BRI. And I know this data set includes 5 classes, so I changed number of classes to 5. And the other parameter remain the same. And then I hit the run button. So this is what you're supposed to see. If you give these parameter settings to Seagrass mapper, and then the Seagrass mapper will be able to calculate the size of each class in this area polygon shape. Okay, so this is the area to calculate the number of the size of the class, and I don't know if you are able to see these black pixels on the screen. These are polygons for atmospheric correction. And another polygon you see, this is training data set for water column corrections. The polygons for classification of seafloors and the classified maps. And the very end is the area to calculate this, the class, the size of the class. So it means that if your asset include area information in polygon, you will be able to calculate the size of each class. And this option will be soon available. We are working on refinement of the Seagrass Trainer, so that Seagrass Trainer will be able to upload the area polygon. Now, only these are the parameters as an input to the Seagrass Trainer. There will be an option to upload area polygons for area calculation of each class. Well, we will be doing the same exercise the day tomorrow for the classification after the talk given by Dr. Sagawa, the classification. So I hope the asset you upload using the Seagrass Trainer will be will be all goes to Seagrass mapper by the time tomorrow, and then you will be all able to feed your own uploaded asset. And okay, so your asset works now means that yeah, I think all the information you uploaded to Seagrass Mapper is finally reflected. Sorry for this time lag, but this is what's happening currently. DTF has been uploaded and so on. Yeah. Yeah, I see some of you have, like in this case, yeah, this is, oh, I see area polygon has been uploaded. How could you upload the area polygon? This is something I would like to know. Sagawa-san, are you there?
Yes.
I'm here. And yes, I uploaded the area polygon as AOI. I suppose this was an error.
But
Anyway.
looks like this is working.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Sagawa-san, maybe this is an alternative option. You see, there is no option currently to upload area polygon, right?
I uploaded it as AOI. In fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe it was an error.
This is not the error, I guess. I think this is a good
Okay.
workaround. Good workaround, I see. Sagawa-san, what do you think?
Oh, about the area data.
This one.
No idea, but yeah, we'll check later.
Yeah, maybe let me check right away. I think if my assumption is right, I think this may be a good workaround.
I used association since it was an area as well as AOI, I suppose.
Yeah. Good.
I loaded this way. So
Well, thank you very much for trying this out. And looks like,
tried. It was luck.
yeah. Okay, asset has been loaded, and I will be using the very same. Yeah, it's working.
Yes, it's exactly what I see.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's working, huh? So Sagawa-san, it is working.
Yeah. Yeah. It worked.
Yeah, it's a good exercise to yeah, to see something like this. So this will be a good workaround. I hope now everyone gets a point. What we did was from Seagrass Trainer, when you upload the area polygon given in the sample dataset, there is no option to upload area polygon, but instead of choosing area, choose AOI and then upload area.zip. So you'll be able to calculate the area extent of each class. Some look like this. Okay. So what kind of AOI type that we should attach in Seagrass Trainer? Oh, AOI type means the type of data set, like AOI type. If I understand your question correctly, AOI has to be in the form of shapefile or hold on a second. Yeah, AOI has to be in the form of shape, KML, KMZ, CSV, or GeoJSON. Did I answer your question? I meant, is it zip file or AOI or zip area? Yeah, you can simply upload AOI.zip. It includes every AOI information. And for area polygon, yeah, upload area.zip information. Yeah, that's all you need. If you want to know what the data set look like, please unzip those zipped data sample file. You will be able to see what is zipped. And that's the data set you need to create when you are doing classification in your case study area. And my colleague, Mr. Kozuka, will be giving some explanation on how you make those training data set tomorrow. Okay, so now it's 5 p.m. and I'm just about the end this webinar, day one of the webinar one. And I assume some of you are successful in uploading the sample data set. And that was the goal of today's exercise. And even you were not able to upload all the data set, please don't worry. We have a sample data set to go along with the exercise tomorrow. I will be explaining how the classification works. I did explain some of this exercise for tomorrow already, but I will be giving more detailed information tomorrow after the talk given by Sagawa-san. During the analysis, hold on a second, still questions are coming. During the analysis too, what kind of parameters that we should fill during the analysis too? AD, I don't quite understand your question. During what is analysis tool you mean? In the meantime, Sagawa-san, can you address this information by Mikael? Accidentally loaded D file as satellite image instead of bathymetry data.
How about delete data and upload it again? Oh,
I mean, satellite image analysis parameters.
I did delete and upload it again, but Google Earth Engine still sees it as a sat image
okay.
for some reason.
Okay. I check later.
Okay, thank you.
Last time I remember when you demo in Nyachan, we can define the class by class directly in your system. I think it's more easy than using chairs. You can define draw class by AD, I'm still stuck with your question. Satellite image analysis parameter means like all these parameters here. Or is this a question about this analysis tool on Seagrass Trainer? I got confused by your question. And the last question from Kay, last time as I remember when you demo in Nyachan, we can define class by class directly in your system. I think it's more easily. Yeah, it is easier if you're doing this data preparation in QGIS. Or I personally used Google Earth Pro to directly draw class by class. And this explanation will be done tomorrow. And just for your information, this Seagrass Trainer also, you can draw polygons see, this is okay. And you can save it like training class 1. And you continue to create another polygon. Save class 1, like you can do something like this if you wish. But as I said, I recommend doing this this work not in the cloud. You can read it here and maybe able to modify it on this interface if you like to see try and error of the classification result. Okay. Okay, you might have more questions about these tools, and
I have a short question.
yes, sure.
So far this is for one site. How about what happens when you have 2 or 3 sites that you have that they will have like, is the folder different, or how do you divide? Because both of all the sites will have this the area of interest, and they will have the same labeling.
Mhm. So you have to have different asset folder for each site.
Okay.
And also, if you're training data set, this especially the substrate class comes from different season, it's better to have different, I mean, you got to have different asset folder.
So, for example, if I'm working with a site 1, so because right now our asset was automatically created, right? So how do I, if I work on the same day with two sites,
Same day, 2 sites.
for example,
Yeah. Even in that case, you have to create 2 different asset folder.
in Seagrass Trainer.
Yeah, in Seagrass Trainer.
Okay.
And
Will we cover that? How to do that?
and just for your information, I think I did this. I explained this during the webinar to your colleagues. You see, this name format is not very friendly. So if you wish to change the name of the folder, just like the sample nanao, this is for me. This is like easier for me to realize which data set is which location and taking in which year and which month.
Right.
Just please inform me. I have access privilege to this system to change the name of the folder for your convenience.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, if we go in analysis tool, we can rename the folder, right? We can give it for the site that we are working.
I couldn't understand your question.
So in a Seagrass Trainer, when we
Right.
go to analysis tool where we copied the asset folder name,
Right.
yeah,
Here.
yes. So I can write here whatever I want.
No.
No. Okay.
No. This is
So how do I create a different folders?
a different folder is created by the time of your logging in, logging out. So if you want to create multiple folder, you have to log out and log in.
Okay. Okay, now I get it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, one more information come. Hold on a second. So this folder is temporarily, and if you want to log out, the asset is deleted. The asset is not deleted. It will remain in Sigra's mapper asset. Every time you log in, a new folder is created. And then once you log out, information remains there. And if you log in again, a new folder will be created. Yes, it is correct.
So is there a way how to access, sorry, if there is a way how to access the old one?
Old ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. to access the old ones, you have to remember the name of this asset.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah, this is, I know this is not very user-friendly, and we had been working with Restec to change this design, this interface functions, but it's been taking long. We continue to work on improvements, and this kind of opinions are very valuable to us. Thank you. But in the temporality base, on the temporality base, if you want to keep using the same asset, please just notify me and just give me some direction to change the name of this type of folder name to some other folder name, which is easier for you to memorize.
I mean, it's fine as long as you keep track of the folder names.
Okay.
Like an Excel sheet or something like that.
Right.
That's okay. I was just wondering how to.
Yeah, AD, the satellite image analysis parameter. What is the detailed data that we need to fill in? Are you talking about this screen here? Okay, now I fully understand your question. Okay, this interface we are looking at right now is for Seagrass Trainer to do the mapping. Like I explained in this comparison of Seagrass Mapper, Seagrass Trainer, while Seagrass Mapper is interactive solution, Seagrass Trainer is I would say tailor-made, not interactive solution. Means that you need to specify the parameters here and send order to Seagrass Mapper. But I think you have access to Seagrass Mapper. You don't need to use this interface. This interface was made for you just need to skip this one. You don't have to use this one. This was made for our Chinese colleagues who has no access to Google Earth Engine. So yeah, just skip this one, please. You can do all the analysis using Seagrass Mapper and using Seagrass Trainer just to send field data information. Yes, it is correct. You need to process images using GE Seagrass Mapper, that's all. Okay. Yes, the name of your asset is from the Seagrass Trainer. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I forgot to inform you one thing important. You will be able to read your own GE asset by specifying full full asset path. So, for example, if you have Google Earth Engine account of your own, you can read those asset information. That might be easier. You have to type a very long name here. But this option will be explained in the Q&A section of the day 3. I will be explaining with some demonstration for you to understand. Okay. Its time is over now, and I would like to. Okay. So this will be a last question. Okay. Should I use this name from Yeah, you should use this name. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so let me wrap up day one. Oh, no LOI found. Yeah. Okay, Komatsu-sensei, thank you very much. You can leave the class anytime. Okay, no LOI found. Maybe I error that when you are copying and pasting this asset folder name, there is unnecessary space sometimes gets in. So make sure that there is no space, okay? I have experienced this AOI not found, and it's usually there is unnecessary space somewhere in the asset folder name. Okay. Milika, thank you for asking this. Yeah, please memorize or the copy and paste your asset folder name for tomorrow. Tomorrow,